that the main thing for the Lakers is we just can't depend on those two guys anymore. We need a third scorer. We need somebody who can get us 15 to 18 points every single game. And that's
this team, their championship window, they did something Magic and the Lakers never did. They won a championship. They were feeling.
The tension around the Los Angeles Lakers didn't come from a loss, a trade, or even some huge performance-grabbing headlines. It came from something way more awkward, with two very different voices in basketball media finally saying the same tough truth out loud. When Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson are on the same page about the Lakers, that's usually a sign things have gone beyond simple opinions and into something real. And this time, the message both men are pointing toward is clear, straight to the point, and not easy for Lakers fans to hear. This team is not where people expected it to be. The conversation didn't begin with compliments either. It started with frustration. Stephen A. Smith, famous for bringing big energy to every Lakers discussion, focused on what he believes are deeper issues inside the organization. Magic Johnson, who normally stays careful with public criticism unless something really bothers him, shared similar concerns in his own style. Different personalities, different experiences, same result. The Lakers are falling short of expectations, and people are running out of patience fast. Right in the middle of this debate is the non-stop pressure tied to the Lakers brand and identity. This isn't a franchise waiting years to develop. This is a team built to win right now, with championship goals, superstar names, and constant attention from the media. Expectations in Los Angeles are always sky high.
Here's the reality. Lakers gonna have to make a change. Now, whether it's a trade or whatever, or
When the Lakers struggle, nobody treats it like an ordinary rough stretch. It instantly turns into a major storyline, and that's why Stephen A. and Magic agreeing means so much. Both men understand how things work in Los Angeles. Excuses don't last long there, and pressure shows up quick. A lot of the frustration comes down to consistency, or the lack of it. One night, the Lakers looked dangerous, moving the ball smoothly, defending with energy, and staying locked in during key moments. Then the next game, everything seems out of sync. The offense slows down, the chemistry looks shaky, and the team feels disconnected. That's the issue both analysts keep pointing at. Stephen A. pushes urgency and accountability, while Magic focuses more on fundamentals and leadership. Different approaches, same destination. The Lakers still haven't found enough stability.
The Lakers' weaknesses, they ain't got bigs. If this was early 2000s and Tim Duncan and Shaquille O'Neal were just walking around, Amari Stoudemire walking around, I would care. If it was late 90s and Charles Barkley, Hakeem, Karl Malone were walking around, it would matter. But the biggest weakness for the Lakers, they do not have bigs, thus they do not have depth at big, but it's irrelevant because that's not the day and age of the NBA currently.
The numbers back up those concerns too. There have been stretches where the defense has looked strong, but the offense keeps changing from game to game depending on matchups and spacing. Costly turnovers in big moments, inconsistent three-point shooting, and uneven production from the bench have created a pattern where positive momentum disappears almost as quickly as it arrives. That's a risky game for a team trying to compete with the league's elite. And when someone like Magic Johnson shines a light on those problems, it becomes bigger than regular basketball talks. Those comments start looking like warning signs. People pay attention when franchise legends speak up, especially when they aren't known for throwing criticism around carelessly. That's where the story starts getting even more serious. Because when two major voices with completely different styles end up agreeing on the same harsh reality, everybody else starts questioning their assumptions. Suddenly, the conversation changes, and more eyes begin looking at the Lakers through a very different lens. Are the Lakers really contenders, or are they surviving off reputation, big names, and flashes of great basketball here and there? That's the question taking over NBA conversations right now, and the answer isn't as simple as people want it to be.
Yeah, I wish we would have seen how this team would have looked, but now they have some decisions to make. I think they need some bigs, they need some shooting, they need to get younger, they need to get a little more athletic on the wing, on the perimeter, defensive-wise. So
here's the part that doesn't get discussed enough. The Lakers' biggest problem isn't talent, it's alignment. On paper, this roster has enough experience, star power, and defensive ability to battle with anybody in the league. The pieces are there, but the fit still feels shaky. Alignment means chemistry, player roles, and having a clear identity, and that's where things start getting messy. Players don't always seem sure where the flow is coming from. Rotations change. Offensive priorities shift depending on who's having a hot night. That lack of direction creates confusion, and confusion leads to inconsistency. It's a cycle that keeps showing up again and again. Stephen A. Smith has continued to stress urgency whenever the Lakers' championship hopes come up. His argument comes down to timing. With veteran stars and only so many prime years left for important players, every season carries huge pressure. There isn't much room left for wasted opportunities. Magic Johnson sees things from another angle. He focuses more on execution and leadership on the floor. He's made it clear that the greatest Lakers teams always had a strong identity. Everybody understood their role, and the team knew exactly what it wanted to be. In his eyes, this current group still hasn't fully figured that out. That's where expectations and reality start clashing, and that's where frustration grows. Every preseason, every TV segment, and every fan debate puts the Lakers in the contender category. But once the season gets rolling, they often find themselves stuck somewhere between legitimate title threat and inconsistent playoff team. That's the uncomfortable middle ground both Stephen A. and Magic are pointing toward. The Lakers just haven't closed that gap quickly enough. Questions about coaching and the overall system have also become part of the discussion. Even with adjustments being made, critics believe the team leans too much on individual talent instead of a reliable structure. When stars are carrying massive offensive responsibilities, role players can become unpredictable, and rotations can lose their rhythm. That's when things start looking uneven. Some nights, the Lakers look like one of the most dangerous teams in basketball. Other nights, they look completely out of sync. That wild swing between elite and disorganized is exactly what separates real contenders from teams that only look impressive on paper. And that's where things start getting tricky. Because once expectations and results stay disconnected for too long, people start locking into certain narratives. In Los Angeles, patience runs low. The media blows up every rough stretch. Fans break down every lineup decision. Analysts stop asking about bad games and start questioning the entire foundation. Before long, a team that was expected to compete for championships starts being viewed as a team with bigger issues that need attention instead of simple adjustments. Magic Johnson being part of this conversation adds even more weight. He doesn't throw comments around just for attention. His standards come from years of understanding what championship basketball is supposed to look like. He knows elite Lakers teams are built on quick execution, strong leadership, and non-stop intensity. When he notices those standards slipping, he speaks up without hesitation. That's what makes his agreement with Stephen A. stand out so much. There's also an emotional side to all of this that can't be ignored. The Lakers aren't just another NBA franchise. They're a worldwide brand with generations of championship history behind them. That legacy creates enormous pressure and influences everything, from player expectations to non-stop media attention. And when expectations are that high, every flaw gets magnified in a big way. Every loss feels bigger, every inconsistency gets louder, and every criticism hits harder when you're talking about the Lakers. That's the reality this roster deals with, and it puts a spotlight on every weakness. In Los Angeles, small problems don't stay small for long. They quickly become major talking points. Another issue both Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson indirectly touch on is leadership structure. The Lakers have plenty of star power, but leadership on the floor doesn't always feel steady. It can change based on who's available, the matchup, or how the game is unfolding. And when leadership isn't clearly established, things can get messy in crucial moments. Late game execution often suffers when nobody is fully controlling the flow. Tight games become tougher to finish. Momentum swings become harder to stop. In playoff-level basketball, those little cracks can turn into huge problems. That's why consistency matters so much. The reaction from fans to this unusual agreement between Stephen A. and Magic has been divided. Some people see it as proof of what they've been saying all along, that the Lakers simply aren't living up to expectations. Others believe the criticism has been blown out of proportion and doesn't take into account the normal ups and downs every NBA team experiences. But when a powerful media personality and a franchise icon are saying similar things, it's a lot harder to brush those concerns aside. Here's something that doesn't get enough attention. The Lakers aren't only being judged against the rest of the league, they're being judged against their own legendary history. And that changes everything. Most teams can survive rough stretches without panic. The Lakers don't get that luxury because every version of this franchise gets compared to championship teams from the past. That's pressure no stat sheet or analytics model can fully explain. The expectations surrounding this organization are on another level, and that pressure affects everybody involved. Every player feels it, every coach feels it, every decision gets magnified. Individual performances become part of that larger story too. When the team struggles, every player gets examined more closely. Stars are expected to carry even more responsibility. Role players face questions about consistency. Lineup changes become non-stop debate topics. Under that kind of spotlight, progress can be hard to recognize because every game is judged in real time with millions watching. One of the most fascinating parts of Stephen A. and Magic finding common ground is that they come from completely different basketball worlds. Stephen A. represents today's media culture, where urgency, accountability, and fast reactions dominate every conversation. Magic represents championship traditions, leadership, team identity, and the importance of execution. When both viewpoints meet in the middle, that's usually a sign the problem can be seen from every angle. As the season moves forward, the noise around the Lakers is only going to get louder. Every winning streak will come with questions. Every losing streak will spark fresh criticism. Every adjustment will be examined closely as people try to figure out whether the Lakers are truly building a championship identity or just going through another cycle of inconsistency. And that's where the biggest question remains. It isn't simply about whether Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson are right by themselves. It's about whether their shared opinion points to a deeper truth surrounding the Lakers' current identity. Because when two completely different basketball voices reach the same tough conclusion, the discussion stops being just another debate and starts looking like a reality the organization may have to face sooner rather than later. What makes this situation even more interesting is that the pressure surrounding the Lakers isn't slowing down. It's actually getting stronger. Expectations don't pause in Los Angeles. Every game adds another layer to the conversation, and every result changes how people view the team. That's why the spotlight keeps getting brighter. One issue that keeps showing up is trust. Championship teams usually have a clear level of trust between coaches, stars, and role players. Everybody understands where shots are coming from, who takes over late in games, and what the identity of the team looks like. With the Lakers, those answers still seem to change from week to week. That uncertainty has become a major concern. The Western Conference also isn't giving anybody extra chances. Teams across the conference have gotten deeper, younger, and more balanced. That means talent alone isn't enough anymore. Experience helps, but chemistry and execution often decide who survives long playoff runs. The margin for error is getting smaller, and that's making every weakness stand out even more. Another topic creating buzz is roster construction. There have been moments when the Lakers have looked dangerous against elite opponents, showing flashes of the team many expected to see. But those stretches haven't always lasted. Injuries, changing rotations, and matchup issues have made it difficult to establish a steady rhythm. That's why questions continue to follow this team everywhere. What's really raising eyebrows is how quickly the mood shifts around the franchise. One strong week brings excitement and championship talk. A couple rough games later, doubts start spreading again. That emotional roller coaster has become part of the story, and it shows just how fragile confidence can be when expectations are this high. Former players and league insiders have also hinted at something bigger. Championship teams usually develop habits that stay consistent regardless of the opponent. They defend with discipline, communicate effectively, and execute under pressure. The Lakers have shown they are capable of doing those things, but the challenge has been maintaining that level night after night. That's where the questions keep returning. Another factor adding pressure is time itself. Veteran stars don't have unlimited seasons left to chase titles. Every year becomes more valuable, and every missed opportunity feels more expensive. That's why so many analysts keep emphasizing urgency. Nobody is guaranteed another chance, especially in a league that changes so quickly. The biggest challenge may not even be talent. It could be whether the Lakers can create an identity strong enough to survive adversity. Great teams don't panic after losses. They rely on habits, structure, and leadership. Those qualities are built over time, but they need to show up consistently. That's what separates dangerous teams from true championship teams. And that's why the conversation around the Lakers refuses to disappear. People aren't questioning whether the roster has talent. Most agree that it does. The real debate is whether all the pieces can come together before the pressure becomes overwhelming. Because in Los Angeles, expectations don't wait, and history doesn't lower the standard for anyone. Every season is measured by one thing above all else, and that's whether the team looks capable of bringing another banner to the franchise. As the season moves forward, one thing is becoming impossible to ignore. The questions surrounding the Lakers aren't going away anytime soon. In fact, they may only get louder with every game. That's what happens when one of the biggest franchises in sports finds itself stuck between championship expectations and inconsistent results. Nobody is questioning the talent on the roster. The Lakers still have star power, experienced players, and enough pieces to compete with anyone when everything clicks. The bigger question is whether they can bring those pieces together consistently when it matters most. Because flashes of greatness are exciting, but championships are built on stability, trust, and execution night after night. That's why the concerns raised by both Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson have captured so much attention. These are two basketball voices from completely different worlds, yet both are seeing similar issues. One focuses on urgency and accountability. The other focuses on leadership and identity. Different approaches, same warning signs. And when respected voices start arriving at the same conclusion, people around the league start paying attention. Of course, the season isn't over, and there's still time for the Lakers to change the narrative. Teams have turned things around before. Momentum can shift quickly in the NBA, and a few adjustments can completely change the outlook. But the pressure isn't disappearing. If anything, the stakes continue to rise with every passing week. That's the reality that comes with wearing a Lakers jersey. Now the focus shifts from conversations to results. Can this team establish a clear identity? Can they find the consistency that has been missing? Can they prove that they're more than just a group capable of occasional dominant performances? Those questions remain unanswered, and the rest of the season will determine whether the critics were sounding the alarm too early or whether they saw something everyone else eventually had to recognize. One thing is certain, though, nobody will stop watching. The Lakers always attract attention, and every game will continue to be examined under the brightest lights in basketball. That's the price that comes with representing one of the most famous organizations in sports history. Expectations never disappear, and neither does the pressure. But what do you think? Are Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson right about the Lakers, or do you believe the criticism has been overblown? Can this team still become a serious championship contender, or are the warning signs becoming too difficult to ignore? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate is far from over. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other basketball fans so they can join the conversation too. Your support helps the channel grow, and it means a lot. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the latest NBA news, breaking stories, and big-time discussions surrounding the league's biggest teams and stars. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.